I got my brother Andy Wang, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, longtime competitor, American, living in China. How's it
That's
going,
right.
brother?
Good. Thank you for having me, man. It's an honor, really. And yeah, I've been in China now. Let's just get into it. I've been in China now almost 10 years. It's hard to believe. I fall into many foreigner story, which is we came here with the idea of staying for like 6 months to a year. Next, I'm married. I'm a dad, and I've fallen into the tunnel. So here I am 10 years
Wow,
later.
man.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that, you're a dad. How many kids do you have?
Yes. I just have one. So, I got married and became a dad a little bit later, like all in my 40s. I'm 40, almost 43 now. And I thought because I got married and had my baby a little bit later, I'll be better prepared, but man, it is
You're
it
never
is
prepared, right? You're never prepared.
it's like I said,
Is your
if it,
is your wife Chinese?
yeah, she's Chinese. She's from here. We met over here about 5 or 6 years ago. We got married a couple years ago, but it's been really interesting because there is a difference in culture. Obviously, I mean, my parents they were from China. I was born in Taiwan. I went to America when I was a baby. So my whole life, of
Mhm.
course, was being American, and then I had always wanted to see what China was like because my grandparents, of course, were from here. Um, I always wanted to see what it was
Mm.
like. So that was my idea in coming. I wanted to stay for a little while, see how things were here, experience it for myself. And it's been great. China, I really enjoy history. So being in China, going to the Great Wall of China, Forbidden Palace, some of these things, it's been fascinating. But yeah, now that I'm married, my wife is from here. Some of the things we argue about, it's because of cultural differences, man. Or is all marriages that way? I don't know, but I'm gonna blame it on cultural differences.
You're from SoCal, correct? You grew
That's
up in
right.
SoCal?
So I spent a lot of time in Torrance, California. I spent a lot of time in Hawaii.
Mm.
Um, but like I said, before we even get to that point, yeah, like I said, coming back to China now, it's totally different than I had thought. It's obviously all over the world. We're going through difficult times now. And I was asked previously when this thing started happening in China, I saw that they were doing memes, like I forgot who it was, Zhang Weili before she was going to fight
Yeah, yeah.
Joanna, right? There were these memes and people were asking me about it. And at the time I said it had not spread obviously to where it has now. And at the time I said it's lack of education. They just people that are making these yeah, people that are making these, making light of these situations, they didn't know, right? Nobody knew really. And it hurts me. It breaks my heart to see
Right.
what's going on in America now. Even though I live in China, that's my point. Even though I live in China now, my life is here, my business is here. Um, it breaks my heart to see, what's happening. Because like I want to hear what's going on with you too. But many of my friends in California, Hawaii, they can't open their gyms. Nevada, they can't open their gyms. So, I mean, how are you doing? What's the scene like there now?
Our gyms are closed, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty much, I think, the law in pretty much most of the states now, right? But we've been on lockdown, I think, since the end of March. Um, I think, no, it's been a month this week. So 30
Yes.
days this week. And then we're supposed to be closed until, I think, May 1st now.
Wow.
Um,
Wow.
the interesting thing is that, I think a lot of the hospitals they're empty. Like there's no patients there from everybody
Interesting.
that I talk to. And it seems like California is doing really, really well considering,
Good.
they brought like a ship to take
Good.
care of all the COVID-19,
Yes.
cases coming in. But
Good.
actually, I think we've done a really, really good job. So luckily, that's good, right? But just kind of waiting to kind of get back
Yes.
to normal and
Yes.
we love jujitsu. Jujitsu is our life,
Yes.
so it's definitely challenging, right?
Yes. Yes.
To maybe things are going to change. I don't know.
Yes.
I think we're too much of a knucklehead to too knuckleheady, too much of meatheads to stay away. But I
Yes.
don't know, man. I think we're kind of we're a little bit immune in a way to a lot of things. Just we have so many germs from all the years of being on the mats. In a way, I think. But I don't know. Either way, like it's I don't want to live in a fear state, no matter what.
Yes.
I don't want to live in a fear state. So that's always going to be my attitude. And I'm going to watch the news to see maybe to get the information that I need, but definitely stay away just because,
Yes.
man, it's really bad. It's really, really bad. And it's leaving a lot of people in a really bad state, people that maybe mentally, like they're maybe they're not that in a good place anyway. And then to have this happen, and a lot of people have lost their jobs, right? They lost all of their income. So it's, it's kind of crazy, man. It's kind of crazy, but I don't know. I feel like there's some fishy stuff going on. Not to get into too much into conspiracy theories and stuff, but it's just, doesn't really add up, if you really look at things.
Well, I've been asked several times, actually, since this started. Many of my friends, of course, they know I'm in China. They asked me what I saw here. I'm with you, like I haven't seen a whole lot. But, recently I saw somebody we both know, Vander Braga, who's a very good black belt, very good person.
Right.
He talked about his experiences with it, and I believe him. So where as far as the origins, all this stuff, we'll leave that up to the politicians. But anything we say today, of course, we're going to talk about jiu-jitsu, MMA. It's our life, but nothing compares to family, health, and seeing our friends and family doing okay. So,
for sure.
It's unfortunate. Oh, well, that's what I was going to say. So, the last time I saw, I'm glad we could do this, because last time I saw you was maybe 5 years ago at the Asia Open, right? So, you may not even know this. Yeah. The listeners probably won't know, but 2 times now, 2 times we've been in the same bracket, and I fully expected to go against you twice. Once was in like 2002, and the second time was in Japan, like 2016, wherever that was. And it hasn't happened yet. But when tournaments start up again, I am challenging you to a jiu-jitsu match. I need to feel.
Let's do a fight to win, man. Let's do a fight to win. Super fight. And that way there's no nothing else. It's me and you, and nobody can get in the way. You know what I mean?
I love it. And what's at stake? Because you bought me dinner after the Asian Open. You were so gracious. So win or lose, I will buy you dinner after fight to win. How about that? Win or lose, man.
That's what I'm talking about. It's on.
Well, yeah. Well, like I said, it's for you and me, our livelihood, not our livelihood, but our life, our life's work has been in jiu-jitsu, and that's what has kept me out here. One of the reasons I stayed out here was I saw that at that time, those was 9 years ago, there weren't that many. Jiu-Jitsu MMA was growing. Actually, one of my early students was Zhang Weili, who's now the UFC Women's Champion. And so there's a lot of people like them who they had started hearing about MMA, they had started hearing about Jiu-Jitsu. And it was cool to be a part of that early development, man, here. There's again, I wasn't an originator, nothing like that. But, when I came, Jiu-Jitsu was starting to gain momentum. And it was great to be in China, in Asia, when things started to roll. Now, of course, thanks to Zhang Weili, thanks to a lot of good fighters like that, MMA is growing here. It's still obviously not it's still there's not going to be any events for a while, obviously, jiu-jitsu or MMA, but it's what's kept me here. The fighters, the students here, they're very hardworking. They love jiu-jitsu. They love MMA. They train very, very, very dedicated. So I'm hoping I could bridge the gap a little bit, show some things that we did in America, show it here.
Yeah, there's Carlson Gracie black belt, Hui Menez, right?
He's the OG. So Hui, if anybody is responsible, I would say, in my opinion, for the success of Chinese MMA fighters, it would have to be Hui. So when I first came here, actually 9 years ago, that was the gym I went to. I wanted to see, what the training was like, and they suggested him. I went over there. I was blown away. So, you and me both, we've been in a lot of places. We've been in a lot of tournaments. Before I came to China, the last place I had trained at was Extreme Couture. I was at Extreme Couture for a couple years. Oh, yeah. I was at Raw in El Segundo. So Grappling Unlimited before that. So, I had seen top level coaching, top level fighters, of course. I had been involved with that. And when I came here, what I saw was China, they didn't have all the resources, of course. They didn't have all the modern equipment, maybe not as many training partners. But what I saw was, you had coaches like Hui who could coach anywhere. And what I saw were fighters like Li Jingliang, who's doing very well in the UFC now, Zhan Tietren, who's the first Chinese fighter in the UFC. They could train and they can compete anywhere. So it was very impressive to me because, again, they didn't have all the resources that we have in America. They don't have all the coaches and training partners, all the modern equipment, but they have a lot of hard work, man. And it was really impressive to see them, how hard they worked. And especially for Zhang Weili now, you know, she's a UFC champion, and, how incredible it is doing it without maybe all the resources or the accommodations that we have in America, in Brazil, places like that.
Man, what a fight, huh? What a fight at what a time, right? For China
Yes.
to get put on the map,
Yes,
right?
yes.
In the UFC,
Yes.
in the middle
Yes.
of this COVID-19 debacle, this pandemic. Like, I'm sure she had to jump through a lot of hoops to just be able to fight.
Well,
what a story,
it's incredible. She, when that thing was going down, like say everything was shut here. I remember actually around the time when everything was starting to shut down, it was mid-January. Around mid-January, we started hearing there was going to be some problems, that something was going on. Be ready to stay home more. My Chinese isn't very good. It's okay, like conversational. But I started hearing a little bit more about it. And then around January 21st, 22nd, I remember everything stopped. You know what I mean? So we stayed at home. All the businesses closed. Where we live, the complex where we live, you would have to sign in. And, if you wanted to sign out, then it would be a little bit tough. And, so yeah, Zhang Weili, if anybody, at that time, I thought she wouldn't be able to leave China because we were hearing about, obviously it was going to be more and more difficult to leave. So I think she had to go to Thailand, and then from Thailand, she went to Saudi Arabia, like all kinds of stuff. But what I would say, if I could say anything for your listeners, for you, like, a little bit about Zhang Weili, I'm sure your listeners, like you, are very educated on the sport. They know how much hard work goes into it. But again, I knew Zhang Weili when she was a white belt. And at that time, then and now, there weren't a lot of female MMA fighters here. And so she had to train with all the guys. I'm talking about Leach. I'm talking about Zhang Tran. I'm talking about Amu, some very, very tough guys. And she came every day. She sparred with them. She fought with them. She learned. She's just a credible person with a credible work ethic. And for all the listeners that out there right now, like, I encourage all you guys, please, like, I don't know these. I know you lived in New Mexico. Maybe John Jones. These guys. I can only go based on media. We can all choose who to support. I hope you guys support champions like Zhang Weili, who, like I said, she has had to jump through incredible hoops, starting in China to get to where she's at now. You know what I mean? And it took a lot of hard work, a lot of patience, overcoming many, many difficulties to become a champion. And she needs our support.
Yeah, man. I mean, like, I think a lot of people in America were kind of upset, right, consciously or subconsciously, about the situation, and want to put a blame on somebody. And for sure, since they came from China, like, we want to point the finger there. For her to do the fight that she did at this time, it's yeah. I mean, you have to take your hat off. There's a respect there, right? After the show that she put on, like maybe one of the best fights ever in the UFC.
Ever. And you, me both, man, more you than me, but me and you both, we've been in that UFC octagon, and having that pressure of, like Dana White sitting cage side, and, Herb Dean or John McCarthy, in the middle, that feeling, you know what I mean? And for Zhang Weili, again, to pretty much come out of nowhere under very, very difficult circumstances, to go all the way to, Las Vegas, I think it was Las Vegas, right? And to perform the way she did, incredible. So she made, now she's very, obviously she's very popular in China. She's got millions of followers now, and rightfully so. And that's what I'm saying. Like, that's the kind of champion that I think we can all get behind. She didn't complain. She didn't complain about having lack of training. She didn't complain about moving around her training camp. She made it happen, man. She went over there. She did it. She fought, again, like you said, one of the best fights we've ever seen. And again, like I said, the best way I can describe her, from, her becoming champion, all that has nothing to do with me. She did that with Hui. She did that with her current coaches. But I did see her in the beginning. And what I can say about her is, if anybody can overcome those kind of challenges, I'm glad it was her. It's really good to see her reap all the rewards for her hard work.
Yeah. So, man, how's the Brazilian jiu-jitsu scene in China per se? I went to Shanghai many years ago, and it was a lot of what do they call it? What do you call it? The foreigners, expats,
Yeah,
you know,
expats. Yeah.
in Shanghai, you know. So there's a lot of foreigners over there.
Yes.
How about the other parts of the countries? The
Yeah.
other parts of the country.
So China is split into tiers. Like the cities are by tiers. So tier one cities are kind of like the more populated, modern, and those would be like Beijing and Shanghai. So Shanghai has a ton of like expats that work, live,
Hmm.
in Shanghai, Beijing. Then as you get into the smaller cities, obviously it's probably a little bit less, but uh, I like Shanghai, Beijing. It feels like in a lot of ways kind of how it does in America and other places. If I want a good pizza, I know where to go in Beijing. I can find it.
Right.
Yeah. Well, speaking
Yeah.
of which, how many kids do you have now? I know you had a couple kids last time I checked. Alberto, I lost you there. 3 kids? Is
I
that what
have
you
a
said?
son
Yeah.
and hello, hello.
Sorry, the connection's
Yes,
now.
we have 3 kids.
Okay.
3 kids and a son and twin girls actually.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I got to say, so going back into it, so I follow your career. I remember when you were the King of the Cage champ. I remember when you fought Javier Vasquez. I remember, a lot of these things. I remember when you made it to the UFC. I was really rooting for you. I know you had some serious injuries, and I remember when you started your Jiu-Jitsu Academy out here, or not out here, but in California, and over the years, the conversations we've had, and now, before when I would see updates of your gym, Legacy, I see you guys doing the tac fit training. I see you guys doing the jiu-jitsu, the
Yeah.
yoga. I'm really happy for your success. And for all the listeners, that's what I mean. Like, I've seen you do it over a 20-year period. You know what I mean? So, all the people I admire in jiu-jitsu, all the people that I admire in MMA from the origins, like definitely you're one of them, and that's why, actually, honest to be honest, that's why I want to go against you someday in a grappling match. Not out of disrespect at all, just because I've seen you so much. We fought PSL together, but
Yeah.
there are matches in your career that I looked at, I was like, wow. When you fought Javier Vasquez, who to me, Javier Vasquez was one of the OG bad boys from Southern California. So anyways, that's what I mean. So I'm happy now to see your success. I see how many students you have. You have black belts now, all this stuff, brown belts, purple belts. And that's
Yeah.
what I hope to do out here in China. I hope to create a good tradition. So Shanghai, they have good jiu-jitsu there. Beijing has good jiu-jitsu, but I'm trying to do it, try to do it our way. You know what I mean? Try to do it our way. I want it to be a good culture. I want it to be a thing where it's a lifestyle, of course. We all say that. But I think in China, again, they're very fascinated by what goes on in America, Canada, Europe, of course. And I want to not just show Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but I want to show Southern California, Hawaii Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, right? So, and there's a style to that I think is very important.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I even take it even further back to Brazil, right? Like living in Brazil, like
Yeah.
that, the lifestyle in Brazil, like, it's a different thing than even like SoCal, but it's all very similar,
Yes.
like kind of in a way laid back. We train hard and we kill each
Yes.
other,
Yes.
but we're also like, it's very chill and like healthy lifestyle, right? The
Yes.
jiu-jitsu
Yes.
lifestyle. Um,
Well,
so
you know.
know,
Oh, I'm sorry.
I
Go ahead.
know in China, a lot of people there are a lot of people like the lifestyle is different, right? The way people work,
Yes.
the way people like the way they live, it's very, very
Yes.
different.
Yes.
So I don't know, that's my friends in Shanghai would always tell me. So it's kind of hard for them to get bought into this way of life, so I wanted to ask you, like when my
Yes, sir.
experiences, I have friends in Shanghai, right? I was telling you,
Yes.
and we talked about the jiu-jitsu lifestyle that you get in Southern California, and even going
Yes.
back to
Yes.
Brazil, right? The lifestyle of, it's like healthy lifestyle, right? You train,
Yes.
you
Yes.
eat well, you take care of yourself. We train hard
Yes.
and we try
Yes.
to kill each other, but it's definitely healthy. And
Yes.
then it was challenging for them. And there's a lot of expats, right? A lot of foreigners in Shanghai.
Yes. Yes.
But they had a big challenge of kind of getting people in China to buy in to this way of life, because that's a part of it, right?
Yeah.
Do you find the same challenge with yourself?
Bro, it's definitely a different culture. China, it is a very wealthy nation, but what people have to consider is not that long ago, there was a lot of turmoil in China. Look up your history. There was a lot of problems here. So for a lot of people that you see here, the older generation, the grandfathers, grandmothers, they went through that. They went through the hard times, you know. So of course now people want security here, right? So going to work, making money, education, doing well in college, it's probably the most important thing to them. So kids here, the difference between high school kids that I've seen in other places versus China. In China, they go to school from like literally they go to class from like 6:30 a.m., 7 a.m. to like 9 at night. And the whole point is
Wow.
to the
Wow.
whole point is to get into a good college, have a good career, make money. And I understand that because again, it wasn't that long ago. China was it was a struggle. It really was a struggle. So the difference for us, of course, is in America, that we've been removed from that struggle. The struggle is what we put on ourselves, right? We want to be champions. We want to make more money. We want to drive a nicer car. I got to go get this job. But here, it was about survival. So now convincing people now, but it's in a different stage. Now they want better things in their life. So like Sam's Club is out here, and it's
Oh, wow.
people want the better steak, they want the better meat, they want the better produce. So it
Mm.
is changing. But for me, like I said, what I try to tell my students is I got married here in China. I've been here 9 years, like I said. 90% of my guests at my wedding was people I knew from jiu-jitsu, my students, my friends, my fellow teachers. And what I try to explain here, again, that goes back to what we're talking about, the lifestyle that we're trying to implement here. What I'm trying to share here,
Mhm.
arm bars, Alberto, if they watch your videos at Legacy Jiu-Jitsu, I'm sure you can show the arm bar better than me. Really, I'm being honest. But what I can try to do is give an environment where, okay, you have stressful work or life is difficult. We all know life has its difficulties. But when you come, you're going to be with friends. You're going to be in a positive environment. And look at the situation now. Like, I don't know about you guys. I've been out of America a long time, like I said. But when I was going through the thing here, and I'm still going through it here, January and February, Alberto, was super difficult because there was just so much information, right?
Mm.
Uh, should you go outside? Can you not go outside? Movie theaters are closed. All right.
Right.
Should you wear a mask? Not wear a mask? Whose fault is it? Like, there's just so much information. You didn't know what to believe. That's what made me
Misinformation, right? Misinformation.
misinformation. Exactly.
Uh-huh.
So that's what made me miss training even more. I was like, man, when I was doing jiu-jitsu, like we're all going the same direction. We're all here to help each other. We're competitive, but we feel better at the end of the day, right? And
Right.
think about yourself. Why have you done this for 25 years, right? Like think about when you were a white belt, when you started, how that euphoria you felt when you had a hard training session. You went home, all your worries went away, right?
Hmm.
It's like a good surf session. It's like anything. Like when you're out there, you're doing it. It's difficult, but when it's done, you feel euphoria. And now, we're still stuck at home, right? For the most part, we're all still stuck home. Why are we stressed out, right? Because we have all this information. We don't know what to do with it. We have no outlet for it.
Mm.
So when we're allowed to open up gyms again here, which for us will probably be May. It looks like we're going to be able to open up in May.
Wow.
Like what I will try to encourage my students, is again, if you want to be a black belt world champion, that's great. Pursue those goals. If you want to be whatever it is you want to be, that's great. But having that positive reinforcement, that positive environment, friends helping friends, like it will help you get there. You want to be a better father, a better businessman, a better teacher. You want to be a jiu-jitsu competitor. Like we can't do it alone. We need positive reinforcement because look at what's going on now, right? There's a lot of
Yeah.
negativity, people blaming each other. Where's this? Where's that? I mean, having that 2 hours where you can just be around people that, hey, we're all striving for the same thing, so important for our mental health and for
Yeah.
our,
Absolutely.
for
I
our
mean,
lifestyle.
people
Yeah.
are dying from the COVID-19. What about all the other people that really they're at risk? Like mental health and just a lot of other
Absolutely.
people, right? That maybe
Absolutely.
not. The suicide. I heard the suicide, like like it's going crazy. So and I guess the more time that goes on. So you've been closed, huh? So they closed everything in January out there.
Yeah. So for us, why I can remember it kind of pretty well is because over here in Asia, Chinese New Year, Chinese New Year is the biggest holiday. So
Mm.
we were just getting ready to start Chinese New Year, which is mid-January this year. And so we were kind of in our first week of celebration, and then everything changed right around then. And we still haven't come back. So, we, again, in comparison to health and loss of human life, it's nothing. A gym is nothing, but, um, like we had just opened a new gym actually, and then we had only a couple of trainings only one jiu-jitsu session, and it was a good jiu-jitsu session,
Mm.
and then everything closed down. So of course I'm worried too. Right now I'm not sure how many students will come back. I'm not sure. I'm still not sure even when we go open the gym. But when we do, I mean, I think this experience obviously has changed all our lives, right? How important it is to be healthy, to enjoy friendships, to enjoy each other, to be
Mm.
outdoors. And it was a struggle before, I would say, in China. To answer your question, that's what I mean. In China, because for a lot of Chinese people, it's about getting ahead. It's about making money, not having to suffer like, what happened before. But now,
Yeah.
I think with this situation, right now, actually, as a matter of fact, right now I'm getting way more calls about trials. When are we going to open? They want to come try, kickboxing. They want to try jiu-jitsu. And, I think situations like this, it's unfortunate. Again, nothing compares to suffering, loss of human life. But I think it's awakened all of us, to say, hey, man, when we can, this is great to be able to exercise, to meet friends, to learn, to learn. And that's what we enjoyed about jiu-jitsu, right? Think about when you first learned a scissor sweep. That was the most amazing thing ever, right? 25
Yeah.
years later, it's still in your head,
Yeah.
So, but I'll say this. So one experience that I had that's really, for me, that's been very profound out here is about a month ago at the local park. I went to a local park. There was probably only 4 people there. Everybody was staying indoors. We were still very, very nervous. Just recently, the last few times I gone to the park, I see hundreds now. People are playing basketball again. People are playing
Oh, that's
soccer.
amazing.
And Alberto, the difference in I leave the park now happy. I mean, it's so good to see strangers, people I don't even know,
Yeah.
uh, just having recreation, laughing, joking. So, for me, like I said, we, of course, we need to, we need to make a living. We need to treat, our business as a business. It's there as a business. But um, after all this is over, when we can go back, like really, like what I really want to do is again create that place where during good times and bad, people
Hmm.
can come, feel at home, have that recreation, have that euphoria. So
Yeah.
little by little, I was going to ask you actually your feelings now as a instructor because you've been doing it a long time also. But I've been teaching jiu-jitsu a long time now, and for a long part of my career, it was I wanted to make champions. I wanted to make people that wanted to fight, to compete. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but little by little, I've gone more towards again just focusing on as much attention on the white belt and blue belt who just enjoy it for fun as the competitors.
Right.
Because again, I see now as I get older, as I've become a father, how important it is, mental health, recreation, enjoyment. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. It's much more than just arm bars and making world champions, but it's everything. It's everything much and much more, right?
Yes.
So every one of the great things about my professor, like Draculino, is that he had all types of people. They had the world champions. We had everything, right? We had the top of the food chain competitors,
Yes.
and we had guys that they were just hobby guys, but everybody got treated the same.
Yes. Yes.
Everybody got
Yes.
treated the same. And so the guys that just hobbyists, they kind of rose to the top. And so maybe the guys weren't top competitors or they even competed, but they ended up becoming really, really tough. So,
Yeah.
everybody was just tough, ridiculously tough, super nice,
Yes.
great culture, great environment in the school. But,
Yes.
everybody was treated the same. And so I definitely try to, emulate that, and what we do, because
Well,
we're all human.
that's
We're all
exactly it.
the
So
same.
let me put you on the spot because some of my friends that are going to watch this podcast, I know they can learn a lot from you. So what do you think are the important things as to be an instructor? You have a huge school. I see, you guys doing a lot of wonderful things. What have you done to create that environment? What do you focus on?
For sure, my professor, Draculino, is a huge influence. And so the way I come up, training hard, having good guys and a good quality
Yes.
jujitsu, but also having it fun and supportive,
Yes.
and so everybody gets treated the same. I take that culture very serious, and if I feel somebody
Yes.
taken away or acting in something that's not congruent of what
Yeah.
we're about, really helping people be their best, I nip it in the bud, it's a really simple and I guess real easy way
Yes.
that I handle it right away. I do not let it drag on. If I see somebody tearing somebody else down,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
student talking bad about any coach or anybody talking bad about anybody, I nip it in the
Excellent.
bud. And I say it once, and if they if they can't adjust, or if I feel like they're not good for that environment, for the culture, like they got to go, you know. It's pretty
Yes,
simple, you
yes.
know. So I protect it really, you know, with everything. And then just right, like our example is very important, right?
Yes.
So like like Draculino, like his example is very important, you know. So I think I just try to be a good example, right?
Yes.
I try to do my best, you know, try to, you know, be fair and honest and have integrity with
Yes.
everything that I do with everybody that I deal with. And then, you know, hope everybody falls in line, you know, and if people
Yes.
are kind of against the values of trying to put people down, like I said, that they just have to
Yes.
go, you know. And I think another common thing that I really choose, when I choose like coaches to kind of be leaders in our community is you know, of course everybody has to get paid and everybody has to eat, but
Yes.
I just it's a feeling, you know, and I
Yes.
feel like
Yes.
that person would do it for free.
Yes. 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 Yes.
And those are going to be the guys like all the coaches that we have are like, man, they're like top of the food chain, amazing coaches, you know,
Yes.
like I said, top of the food chain. I'm just like, I'm blown away how amazing
Yes.
like every single coach that we have, you know, is. And
Yes.
I feel like that's the same quality. Everybody has that same quality. They would do it like they would do it for free, you know, if they
Yes. Yes.
need money, they would do it for free.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And I think if I had and I feel if I would ask you, would you do it for free if you didn't have to, you know, eat and, you know, have money to eat? A 1,000%, you know, right?
Yes. Yes.
You know what I
Well,
mean?
I think, yeah, I think, and again, for the listeners at home who are getting into jiu-jitsu, and you want to, it could be jiu-jitsu, it could be anything, but I think that's the key ingredient to excelling. Would you say, like, it's not just showing up to class and going through the motions. It's really, putting passion to it. Like, all right, man, I'm going to do a little bit more. I'm going to be a good teammate. I'm going to be a good partner, right? Like if somebody needs
Right,
help, I'm going to help
right,
them out, a drilling partner, what have you. But,
right,
it's, that's what I'm trying to do out here. Like, I feel like the initial wave out here, like I said, it was about, all right, we just want to learn these arm bars, we want to learn these chokes. That's great. But now, again, as things are changing in China, like I said, now, China people, they want the full experience. And I think we should give them the full experience. You know what I mean? Like, be a part of the team, be a good partner, be a good friend, be a friend of the academy, right? Those are all very
right.
important things. The other question I was going to ask you, again, because I've been out of California a lot now, I've been out of America a lot now. And I noticed now, like, jiu-jitsu is taking on maybe there's a different direction where, like, I see some of the techniques now. Like, I watched the videos from the World Championship, and the techniques have changed very rapidly over the last few years. I mean, what's your feeling on that? Is it
You know,
getting too sportive?
no, I think things evolve, and
Yes,
gotta evolve with it. You know, you gotta practice that barambolos, the
yes, yes,
50-50s, and you gotta include it into your game. You know, to stay in
yes.
50-50 the whole time. Like, you know, I was playing a whole like a leg game. Like I called it like 50-0. You know, for
50-0?
quite a few years. You know, you know, and so you know, it's all an opinion. But at the end of for me, just because I'm from the old school, you know, this
Yes,
stuff was for fighting and for self-defense, right? For
yes,
fighting, and
yes,
it's a martial art. And so I don't think, for me, I don't think you can ever forget that. You know, you
yes,
can do
yes,
all the
yes, yes,
sports jiu-jitsu you want, but
yes,
don't forget that it's a martial art, and you better
yes,
know how to fight. You know, you better know the
yes, yes,
basics, and you should understand at the end of the day that it's a martial art. You know, and I
absolutely.
think sports jiu-jitsu is amazing. I love
Yes,
jiu-jitsu competitions, and I'm open. I love all the new school stuff. You know, the
yes,
berimbolo. I love it. You know, maybe I don't do a lot of the stuff, but I definitely practice it, and I try to learn and try to keep up. And
perfect.
if I don't even do it, I definitely need to practice how to stop it, right?
Yes,
And
yes,
so it makes me evolve and makes me change.
terrific.
I love it. I love it. You know, do I want to see somebody in a jiu-jitsu championship like being 50-50 the whole time? Maybe they should make some rules, you know, a little more
Yeah,
exciting, right? Because, you know,
yeah.
guys scissoring each other, right, for, you know, for 8 minutes or 9 minutes,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
you know, I don't know. They should have some rules, I think. But
Yes.
besides that, man, it's cool, man. It's cool. And these guys are super high level. Like, they live, they breathe it. You know, they
Yes.
study, they train all day long, every single day. So I love it, man. I love it. You know, like one of Draculino's black belts, Lucas Valente. You know, his
Hmm.
uncle. Like, I'm really close friends with him. He's
Yeah.
one of his old school black belts, but he grew up, he's kind of like not even like, he's like third, fourth generation, right? Of black belts, And so he got silver medal last year at the world championship, and it's just really cool to see these guys continue really the legacy of like that high levelness. And I talked to him a couple weeks ago, and like this COVID-19, like his wife actually won the world black belt last year.
Wow.
But just the level of commitment and work that they basically have to like, they have to eat, like they have to live it, all day long, breathe, sleep, like thinking about it while they eat, they have like all day long every day. And that's what it takes, that's what it takes. Right. And I even asked like Lucas, his name's Lucas Valente, like, what are your goals? I said 5 years at the beginning. And then I changed. I was like, hey, okay, let's do 3 years, And he said to be multiple time black belt world champion.
Wow.
And that's it. That's I got goosebumps because really that's what it's about, And so I love that it's super high level, man. And you put that kind of focus on something, it doesn't matter what it is, if it's, you want to be a UFC champion, you want to be whatever it is. It's beautiful, man. And that's what it's about, that's what the martial arts are about, really, because they give you character traits, right, that allow you to be successful in life. So in my opinion, to go back to your question on what I think about it, I think it's great, man. I think it's great. Let's do it all, let's do it all. Yeah. But also, let's not forget that it's a martial art. So, make sure you know how to do a double leg. Make sure you know how to do a single leg, right? Sure. Make sure you know a couple of takedowns, right? You don't just play,
that's
and 50-50,
Well, that's the next question I was asking. So you see where the UFC, and back then when we were fighting MMA, like I don't think we could ever imagine what the UFC has become, right? Like every week there's shows all over the world. So how do you feel about the growth of MMA now? Now, like I said, it's growing so fast. I mean, how do you feel about that? Do you see any major differences between when you fought in the UFC and what the UFC has become? Do you like it, dislike it?
It's hard for me to. It used to be nice because, I guess supply and demand, right? There was like less shows, so every show that was on, you valued it a lot, and you watched all of them, right? And you really knew like every fighter that was fighting in the UFC. Even when I fought, like there weren't that many events still.
Yes.
I fought between George St. Pierre and Randy Couture.
Amazing
honor. But there weren't that many events. So if you actually got on a card and you actually fought, it was cool. Like it was you knew everybody, right? So it's a big deal. Now there's so many shows, like even me, who's like a hardcore fan, it's hard to keep up.
Yeah, it's hard to keep up. Yeah.
So I definitely watch the big UFCs, right? I definitely like the pay-per-views. I try to follow those, but even those, like when there's a lot of things going on, it's kind of hard to follow, right?
Yes.
But I think it's great, man. I think, I used to live in Mexico, right? And Greg Jackson, who was my coach, he really believed in this MMA thing, And to be honest, like I don't know if I ever really did. I was always a jiu-jitsu guy, but I definitely wanted to challenge myself, and so I ended up fighting. Ended up doing like 20 fights, right? Fighting around the world, and even Japan, Asia, Japan, and Europe, and all over the country, and even UFC, right? But I'm just a jiu-jitsu guy, that wanted to challenge myself, and ended up going, fighting for 10 years. But I think it's amazing, right? It's amazing. Not bragging about myself, but it's amazing, It's
you are not.
To see the growth of the UFC and have it be a mainstream sport, right next to the NBA, right next to the Major League Baseball, NFL. Like, I mean, it's like a dream come true, really for us to see like Royce Gracie fighting with the gi against a super wrestler, and to see it evolve to a mainstream sport. Oh my God, man. It's like, incredible. It's amazing, man. It makes me so proud to have been a part of this journey, they had not to brag about myself again, but there was a Royce Gracie special that the UFC put out a while back.
Okay.
And so they had like clips and his history and everything. And one of my guys, he screenshot. He's like, dude, like right at the end when they're finishing, like they talk about like the jiu-jitsu, they have my fight actually. One of my fights, like a little clip of me doing some jiu-jitsu, And
really?
I was like, oh, no way.
Man.
Like, that's surreal,
Yeah.
kind of included in the conversation, right? With like Horace
Yes,
Gracie and
yes,
just the
yes, yes,
UFC. But you
yes.
know, all of us that fought in those early days, like even like you mentioned Vander Braga earlier, man, we're a part of that. You know, we
Yes,
represented jiu-jitsu in the cage fighting. You know,
yes,
and I
yes,
never
yes.
thought I would fight in the cage. I never thought I would fight in the cage, but and you know, challenge myself. And then King of the Cage, which is really deal back in those days, right? They were coming to town,
Yep,
so I had the opportunity, and so yeah, the one thing
yep,
led to another, you know. But amazing to see, man. Amazing, truly amazing to see it be a mainstream sport these days.
yeah.
And
Well,
then even
that,
having China, you know, having China get, you know, get the putting the flag on the map, you know, for
yeah,
MMA,
yeah,
for
yeah.
UFC. I mean, at this time too, like wow, you know, it really
Incredible.
shows how international it
Yes,
is.
yes.
And like Dana White says, right? Like no matter what culture you're from, no matter, you know, you understand what's going on because it's so primitive, it's so ingrained in
Yeah,
us, right? Understand an MMA fight, no matter what.
yeah.
You can see if somebody's getting their ass beat or if they're, you know, if they're winning or they're losing,
Yes, yes,
right?
yes.
So it's there's no borders, right? And that China getting the flag put on the UFC map, you know, is
Yes.
a great example of that.
Well, actually,
You know
so
that you had mentioned about having to close your gym. I wanted to flip the script back to you, so you
okay,
don't
sure.
to interview me.
Nah, man, this is awesome, man. No,
but
this is awesome.
you know, like they just gave out stimulus checks. You know, I think a lot of people started getting them this week
Yeah, yeah,
to help people in the economy, and
yeah.
you know, people can't work, so to give them some money.
Of course.
Is China doing that? Are they sending out checks?
If there's anything like that, they didn't send one to me. I'll tell you that, man. So what they did was over here, like depending on where your business was, where you live, stuff like some businesses. Our gym was one of them. We were able to get like one month free rent. Like we didn't have to pay rent for 1 month, so it definitely helps a little bit. But you know, yeah, you know, right now, like I said, it's you know, people. There's so many gyms here. You know, I was at one gym here where within one building there was like 3 or 4 gyms all in the same building. You know, all teaching MMA, jiu-jitsu, boxing, everything. So it's definitely getting more popular. But unfortunately, because of what's going on, and again, compared to human life, of course, it's nothing. But what's going on here now is gyms are starting to close. So one of my good friends in Shanghai, actually, he had a gym called Refuge. Put his soul and passion into that gym. It had to close down. You know, like I said, they've been closed for a few months, and you know it's hard for them. So yeah, you know, I think like I said, same with you, right? The stimulus checks, I'm sure it helps a little bit, but you know, obviously you can't go on like this forever. You know, at some point we got to open up the doors, we got to train. Where I'm
I
kind of
haven't,
stuck.
I haven't gotten mine. I'm just saying. But, no, no, I haven't gotten mine yet, you know. But people are getting them, so I was just
It's
curious to
coming.
see if there's
Yeah,
some kind of plan from the Chinese
yeah.
government. So what you said that you don't have to pay rent? Is that the
So
deal?
the business that we are at, and it's not for every business, but just so happened the business, our location, the zoning, they gave us like 1 month free rent. But you know where the rent is at, where we're at, it's very expensive. So you know we're hoping to open up soon, you know, real soon. But even then, like I said, I'm worried because I've
Yeah,
talked to some of my friends that are actual doctors, and they're suggesting us be cautious. So you feel it, like there's that balance, right? Your students really want to train, you really want to open the doors, but you see what's going on, right? And you know, again, versus human life, like how would we feel if some of our students got sick training, you know, and we opened the doors? Like we would feel, you know, horrible, right? So it's that balance, you know, and I'm still working it out right now. I have a partner in the gym, and we're still trying to figure out that balance. Like, shall we have small jiu-jitsu classes? Shall we have big? You know, we're still figuring out. Because again, against human life. And you know what really kind of touched me was reading Vander Braga's story. You know, Vander is, I consider him a close friend. We trained together a long time, and you know, reading what he said, what he's going through, what he went through, you know, I wouldn't wish that on anybody. You know what I mean? Yeah, I was gonna say. So yeah, you know, of course, it's a balance act because right now, of course, our students want to train. They're calling me up all the time to train. We want to open because we want to do business. But again, against the whole global, what you see going on, you know, actually, for me, I would say a couple weeks ago, Alberto, I was feeling better about things because people were going outside, businesses were opening here. And then once I started seeing everything that was happening elsewhere, you know what I mean? Okay, the UK Prime Minister got it, Tom Hanks, you know, this and that. Of course that makes you fearful. You know, of course that makes you fearful. And then seeing what happened to Vander Braga, what he wrote about, you know. So, you know, I'm still figuring it out. Like, when should we open? How many people we should open to? But we're all itching to get back into it. Not just for the arm bars, of course. We're not just itching to get back to arm bars, but, you know, just seeing our friends and having a good workout.
For sure, you know, like Vander Braga, you know, he got COVID-19 right in Brazil,
Yes.
and he wrote about how he you know, didn't feel good, and I heard Roger Gracie got it too, right? And
That's
so
right.
these are
That's
healthy
right.
guys, right? That are
That's right.
getting the thing. So
That's what I mean. So, you know, like I was feeling better like 2 weeks ago. If we had this conversation, I was going to say, oh, we're going to open India now. We're going to have big classes. But, you know, you see what's going on. You see Roger Gracie, you see these guys, you know, like I said, you know, the UK Prime Minister, all these different people. It brings back the fear for me. It does, you know, because again, as instructors, we're also leaders, right? And we want, you know, we want a safer environment for our students. So it remains to be seen. But I do worry because I do see some of my friends, their gyms are closing. And it's very, very unfortunate. You know, it's really unfortunate. All around, it's unfortunate.
yeah, it's an interesting time, right? Let's see. I mean, we really need it. Like you know, humans, like mankind needs jiu-jitsu and needs this kind of contact. But
Yes.
people are scared, right? People are scared, and so how is that? What does that mean for jiu-jitsu? What does that mean for our way of life, right?
Speaking of which, I was going to bring this earlier. When California had their first sanctioned event, I think it was in Strikeforce. It was like Ken Shamrock versus Cesar Gracie. I was actually in Colorado, and I was at a tournament in Colorado, and I was training over at Amal Easton's, who both
Wow.
us, he's a mutual friend. And Amal Easton, this is what I'm trying to tell
Yeah,
people. Amal Easton, what he's done, that culture he's created, I hope everybody can enjoy that. I don't care where you live, China, Colorado, you know, America, Hawaii, I don't care, you know, Japan. If you want to feel what jiu-jitsu can be, go visit Easton Martial Arts, man. Like, you know, talk to them all Easton, talk to the people there. Like, you will feel this excitement, this enjoyment about being there, being a part of the culture. And I, you know, like I said, you know, Amal, you know, he's somebody I look up to, what he's done, you know, how he trained, how he lived his life, how he is living his life, I'm sorry, as an instructor, as a father, you know. And I think jiu-jitsu, you know, it can make us all better at what we do.
for sure. You know, so we'll see. You know, I know like we have a lot of people that have been training for a lot of years, and so
Yes, yes,
I can't see them not training jiu-jitsu anymore, really, you
yes,
know.
yes, yes, yes.
So we're lucky we have a lot of, you know, a lot of those guys in there, you know, but it's going to be interesting, right? It's
Yes.
going to probably change a
Yeah.
bit. A lot of people are going to be scared. You have to
Yeah.
respect how everybody feels, you know.
Yes. Well, we'll
You know,
see. You know, we'll see how it goes. You know, China, like I said, I think China is a little bit closer to being ready to open again. Uh, it's a different demographic than America, than
but
Asia.
why
I'm
haven't they
sorry,
opened
than
yet? You know, it's been, you know, you guys closed down in January, right?
yeah,
So February, March, April, that's 4 months.
yes.
That's
The
4 months.
the worry from my understanding is another wave coming, being brought back.
Mm.
So the news that I saw here, was that as of lately, more recently, the cases that were coming up were from people coming back to China. So they closed the borders in China now, right? So all foreigners, even if you have a visa, you can't come back to China right now. You can't come back. So when will that be lifted? I don't know. You know what I mean? But you know, it seemed like things were getting better, and then things are getting better. Like I said, more businesses are opening, more people are outside. But there is that worry, of course, of what happens when people will start getting on the subways again, when people go back to work again, the offices, things of that nature.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to believe, you know. I don't know what to believe.
Yeah.
You know, there was I went to a place like a health place, you know, and they do the
Yes.
COVID-19 testing. So they test to see if you've had it already, like the antibodies. They do like a
Yes.
little blood test. And they
Yes.
said a third of the people that have gone in there, they've had it already in Los Angeles, you know. It's a LA place.
Wow.
So they said a third of
Wow.
the people have already had it, you know. And so some people had no symptoms, some people had some, some people got sick, and it was like December, January, like, they had that cough for a couple of weeks, like that dry cough, that like lingered on. They really got sick, they had fevers, and, they were messed up, but they all got better, and then they came in to see if they got tested. But that's back then, and we have a lot of, Chinese, right, and coming to LA, and a lot of people from all over the world really coming to LA. So they say, like, it came here much earlier, but like I said, like a third of the people. So I don't know what to believe, like, I feel like all of us had it at the gym, because we all had that damn dry cough. We had like the same things, that they're saying that it is, it's scary for sure, but the flu goes around every year, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Some people die from the flu, so I don't know. Maybe it's a more severe flu, but I don't know. Like, if it's I don't know. I feel like there's a bigger power in play. Not to get political or anything, but just like something.
You never know, man.
Something else is in play to I don't know, to stop, I guess, our way of life, in a way. So it's an interesting time, I'm gonna stay positive and stay for the best. I love jiu-jitsu. I know it's not gonna go away from my life. However, we have to do it. It's kind of hard to do it over Zoom, right? To do jiu-jitsu over Zoom, but luckily I have TagFit now, so you can definitely, like, clean up your movements, and you get better really with a lot of things, your skills by yourself. So that's at least, if we have that, solo things, solo drills.
Yes.
But it's an interesting time for sure,
It is. It is.
Were you gonna ask me something?
No, so I was gonna say, it is, and I think, again, you as a instructor, as a gym owner, as a businessman, as someone in your community, I'm sure a lot of people are looking towards you for leadership, of course, especially our students, and you, by staying fit, by doing the tag fit, I think, again, that's helping, because for you to have fought in the UFC, for you to have, been the king of the cage champ, it was self-improvement, right? You're thinking, like what you said about your friend that wants to be a multiple-time world champion. You got to be thinking about that at breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I think especially moments like this, again, where you, particularly Alberto, you're a leader in your community, you're a leader to your students, and you staying positive and you continually working out, doing what you can, it's great for them, and it's a good reminder for all of us, it's a good reminder, like, it's out of our control, whether it's wherever the origins are, whatever the, what's going on now, it's out of our control to a certain degree. Let's just control what we can do. Be good examples, stay active, stay healthy, stay positive, help our friends out.
That's it. Stay away from the news. That's been my mindset. So I said, we can't control a lot of things, right? We can't control. And so that's why I'm trying to keep a positive mindset. Did you hear what I said?
And yeah, I agree 100%. And I'm
going to say one more time, like, we can't control being shut down by the government. We can't control, not being able to work. We can't control, like, all the social distancing, right? But we can control how we react to it. We can keep a positive mindset. We can work out. We can train, keep ourselves, balanced and healthy. So we can make the right decisions, right? And not make decisions out of fear because we're scared that we're gonna, we're gonna die, we're gonna kill other people. I think that's we're in control of that. We're in control of that. So, and I think definitely, like, training, you can't do jiu-jitsu, unless you have, like, a partner in the house, but we can, like, work out and train. We can do tag fits and those kinds of things,
Well said.
That's my attitude anyway.
Yes. Well said. Well said. Well, let me finish by this. Things are, a lot of people have been asking me, things are getting better here in China. Again, I just live in one part of China. I don't see everything. I don't know everything, but things are getting better. I'm seeing people at the park. I'm seeing people out. I can see right now through my window, kids outside playing. And if it's happening here, it's going to happen in America for sure, man. So, best of luck to all you guys. Like I said, you guys, it's tough. There's a lot of things, a lot of news, all these things, but things are improving here in China. So it will improve over there. Hang in there. Like Professor, Alberto says, man, staying positive, how we react to it, that's an important thing. So again, thank you for welcoming me on your podcast. I can't wait to meet you again. And
Yes. We'll do that match.
I'm gonna
Super
see you on
fight.
the mat.
Super fight.
I can't wait. I can't wait. Again, nothing but
Boom,
respect.
boom, and then bang heads.
Nothing but respect. To me, you're an OG, man. You're an original grappler. You've been doing it a long time, and like, it would just be great to have a match with you and have a good meal afterwards together and talk
For
stories.
sure, man. I'm gonna go back in time before we say goodbye. But I remember your match like it was yesterday with Kron Gracie, and I remember your reaction because they basically matched us up pretty much last minute, right? And so
Yeah.
Rico Chaparelli was the one he was the organizer basically,
Yeah.
and you trained at Raw, his
Yeah.
gym, and so he matched you up basically with Kron Gracie,
Yeah.
who was like on a rampage, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
he's like, okay. Andy versus Kron Gracie.
It was awesome, man. It was
So
awesome.
you did
Man.
great, man. You did great.
Yeah,
It was
thank you.
awesome, you know?
Well,
Yeah.
before we conclude, actually, that's what I really enjoyed about us being in Japan together. I mean, we were helping each other. We were in the same bracket, and we were helping each other. You were helping me during my matches. I was helping you during your matches. And that's what I mean. That's what it's about. And then we might have competed against each other. We didn't know that. But we were there and we helped each other. We got the same roots. And that's the lifestyle. That's what I love about jiu-jitsu. That's what I love about, even competing, back then. It's like, hey, well, we're all here for the same reason. We want to win. We want to test ourselves. We want to be the best. But we weren't above helping each other, do better. And, that's what I missed. And that's what I like about you. I've always respected about you. And I hope really, again, whether we meet on or off the mat again, I really enjoy talking to you. So take good care, take care of your family, and, let's meet again soon.
For sure. The brotherhood, the friendships, in jiu-jitsu, it's amazing. They last forever. So I really appreciate your time. I really appreciate you. I appreciate your friendship. So thank you again.
All right.
And I hope things get better over there in China,
Yes.
Sooner than later. Right. And,
Yes.
and on the flip side for me too.
Yes.
So
Yes,
we can
for
get
sure.
back to it and keep
Yes.
spreading this beautiful art and way of life.
Let's do it. All right. Talk to you again soon, my friend.